ऑफिस में अगर ज्यादा हुआ है तो फिर हो सकता है वो मैसेज से ऊपर लोड होगा नहीं। Okay. Yeah, done. So, thank you for joining with us in time. And I can see how both of you are so interested to have more deeper insight on this very sacred book called Bhagavad Gita. So, this 4 sessions which we are going to discuss. So, we will have. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the division of this 4 sessions should be like this. The first session, what we are going to discuss is about this body is not all in all. Soul exists. So that will be our first theme. That we are not simply this external body which we see. When you go in front of mirror, what you see is your body, right? So we are something beyond this body. So we are going to discuss that. This body is not all in all. Soul exists. That would be our first theme, which we are going to discuss today. Then in future sessions, next 3 themes also would be there. So the second theme would be yeah. So Sapne Prabhu, I don't mind even if you are there also, because it would be nice for in any coordination, anything is required, you can be there. If you're okay, if you're available. Will that work for you?
Sure. Yeah. Makes
Okay.
sense.
Yes. So good. So yeah. So the second part of the, second theme would be that I am not all in all. I am not all in all. God exists. God exists. Right. So that is the second session where we are going to discuss on scientific understanding about existence of God. How can we have a very solid scientific and logical understanding that yes, God must exist. Then the third session would be this life is not all in all. The life in which, we perceive that we have taken birth and at a certain point of time we may die. So there's a lifespan. So this lifespan, this life is not all in all. Next life exists. That means there is something called reincarnation. We are going to discuss about that concept and what Bhagavad Gita talks about it. And the fourth session is going to be this world is not all in all. Spiritual world exists. The world which we see, which we perceive, which we experience with our material eyes, with our material senses, we experience. So this world is not all in all. There is another realm. It's called spiritual realm. What Jesus told about kingdom of God, right? Spiritual world. So that also exists, right? So when we are living in this world, we should not forget to prepare ourselves towards the next world, towards the next realm. We should not remain stuck in this world, which is the world of birth and death, right? So we should not remain stuck. Yeah, and this world we understand, we perceive that it's a world which is designed in a way which gives so much of misery to people in this world, right? So how can we come out of all this miserable material existence and we can be promoted to the spiritual existence, which is free from any kind of misery and which helps us to have our eternal blissful life in knowledge. So that is like preparing ourselves towards the ultimate destination, that is spiritual world, the spiritual realm, right? Yeah. So this is the, can say in nutshell, 3-4 themes which we are going to discuss. So I just like to ask a question. So what is the theme today we are going to discuss? If you can just remind me. Today's theme, could you notice? I spoke for today what we are going to discuss.
Oh, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I
So today
had difficulty understanding what you said. Was there a question?
my question is that for today's lecture, what is the theme? I
The
mentioned.
body, right?
Yeah. So we are not the body, we are soul. Correct. This body is not
Oh,
all in
right.
all. Soul exists. Okay. At this point of time, I just wanted to know that are you able to understand me clearly, or do I need to slow down? Or you're able to understand my accent and the pace? Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Generally,
yeah,
yeah, but
generally, I can understand most of what you're saying.
Okay. Fine. Forgive me in case something is not understandable because I mean I'm from India, so I have a certain accent. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
okay.
but I
I
appreciate
understand
that you are trying your
what
best.
you're,
But you can always pause. I mean, you can raise your hand or something. You can just request me to pause for a while and help me to I mean, give you another chance to, I mean, I can again repeat what I'm speaking so that we are on the same page, right? So you can always interrupt me by raising your hand or just telling maybe. So I will make sure that, what I'm trying to say is conveyed to you. Okay. Will that work? Is that okay? Fine. Okay. So, yeah. So these are very important concept that we are not the body, we are soul. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it dedicates entire second chapter almost like that. Most of it, not as I don't say entire, but most of many verses, many verses. Verses are like the shloka, the verses, which the text which Lord Krishna spoke. So many verses. They actually talk about the science of soul, and how we are different from this body. Yeah. So and that's the foundational knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. It's a very foundational subject matter, that how we are not the body, we are soul. So you see, in today's world, people have so much of studies, right? There's so much of academic domains. People study about physics, maths, chemistry, psychology sometimes, so they deal with a lot of subject matter, which actually is basically talking about matter. Yeah, it's dealing with matter, right? So matter can also be of two types. There's called something called gross matter. There's something called subtle matter, right? So gross matter is something which we can see very directly, like earth, water, fire, air, ether. It's called gross matter. The subtle matter is actually something which you cannot see with your gross eyes, but that exists and it has a material existence, right? It is not spiritual, but it's material, like mind, right? Intelligence, false ego. So these things we cannot see, but they're very powerful. Mind is very powerful. Intelligence is very powerful. Ego is very powerful. So this is also material, but it is subtle material, subtle matter. So soul is beyond this gross matter and subtle matter, both. So now, in this world, when we are trying to, I mean, get education in universities, colleges, so generally we get education about the matter, gross or subtle, right? At best. But we don't find any department, any university, college, much talking about the science of soul. That doesn't happen many times, right? So the soul is something which is seen as a very difficult subject matter to discuss about, even by the greatest scientists also, right? But Lord Krishna gave good amount of time by giving the verses explaining about science of soul, explaining about science of soul. So it's a very important subject, because this is what we are. It's about our existential identity, right? So that's very important, because we need to know who are we. So we'll bit discuss on that. So I have made a PowerPoint. So this PowerPoint is based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. I can always show you the references for whatever I speak, which is there in Bhagavad Gita. So today I may use some of the references from Bhagavad Gita, and I may also take certain examples, certain illustrations to explain you the concept, right? So yeah, but just to tell you that anything what I'm speaking is, I have a reference behind. Sometimes I may present some references, sometimes I may not. I may just give the example. But as in when we get into Bhagavad Gita directly later in future, then you'll able to see that how everything what I'm speaking is actually there in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So I'm just coming to the slideshow. So I'm just sharing the screen with you. You can just see and let me know whether you're able to see that. So are you able to see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, so it has somehow gone ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is just a minute. Okay. So this is what we are going to discuss today. Yeah. So Gita Nashal session 1. So now here, this analogy of car and driver that helps us to understand, have some idea how we are actually not this body which can be compared to car, but we are actually the driver of that bodily car, right? So as a driver drives a car, so drives a living body. Says like that. So yeah, and matter is dead while soul is conscious. The soul is superior to matter. So as I was mentioning that our modern colleges and universities and whichever you find the institution which are giving us some education, so they only deal with matter, but the spiritual knowledge, not material knowledge, spiritual knowledge. The spiritual knowledge actually is wholesome, which talks about matter, soul, and God, all three, right? So material education is only focusing on matter and they miss out the soul and God aspect. But spiritual education, spiritual knowledge, it includes matter, soul, and God, and also the relationship between them. Means how the matter, soul, and God are related. Correct. So what way no we have to deal with matter and have a relationship with God by which we can perfect our life. So that brings out the real purpose of life. That brings out a sense of responsibility, how we can live in this world. So many advantages because that's the aspect of knowledge. Because when you're having spiritual knowledge, then you have very clear vision about life. It's a wholesome vision, right? Yes, and that can bring a great positive change in this world. Yes. So at this point of time, I'd like to just ask, are you okay with me till now? You have any questions or anything? Are you fine?
I'm fine.
Okay, fine, good. Am I too slow or am I fast or you find it okay?
No, it's
You're
fine.
good. I think the pacing is good.
Okay, fine. We'll further. Oh, so I think we have Connell also.
Hello.
Connell, thank you for joining with us. Uh, so usually we request all our students if they can have their video on because that makes it quite personal. So if you don't mind, would you able to put your video also on, Connell? Thank you. Thank you so much, Connell. Yeah. Okay. So Connell, maybe just for a minute, if you can introduce yourself so that we are also, uh, we just know about you. Maybe in a minute, if you can, you can introduce
myself.
and you can just talk about your inspiration, how you were inspired to, have this session on Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
My inspiration is I'm like a yoga practitioner
Yogi
and
practitioner. Okay.
yeah. And I have like a lot of close friends who meditate and
Sorry.
um like I have close friends who like lead meditations and um
Acha, you lead
Medit-
you lead meditations.
I thought that was related. I don't know,
Okay.
but I don't know what that is really.
Okay. Okay. No issues.
Interested.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And anything about your spiritual journey specifically, or have you ever encountered Bhagavad Gita or anything?
I don't have any prior.
Yes. Or you don't have any prior much uh, encounter with Gita or anything?
Nope.
Okay, no issues. So, Colonel, just to summarize till now what we discussed, we were talking about how we are not the body, we are soul, right? So the body, what we see when we are in front of mirror, it is simply the dress for the soul. The soul is the real person, and the body is made up of matter, and which is an external dress for the soul. So here the analogy of car is given, just like car, it has a driver, then only the car functions. Same way, the body functions only when there is presence of the soul. If the soul is not there, then body cannot function. Body cannot move even an inch. The soul is the real person, which is one of the very essential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We are moving ahead. So he says, so now we are going to have this different subtopics. We're going to discuss one on one. Yeah. So when I ask you a question, who are you? Right? So many times you may say, okay, name we may tell about our nationality. People may talk about their, which college they are from. They may say that I'm human being. So there are many things they may say, right? But actually, if you think more deeply, what is, who is the person who never changes, who is always remaining the same? Sometimes our names may change. Sometimes we may change our nationality. Sometimes people may change, I mean, their gender also sometimes nowadays. People may change their, educational, they may have switched over their education, like they may be before in medical, then they become to engineering. These things, they may keep changing, right? Yeah. So, but something which doesn't change. So, so who is that person who is having these different kinds of, varieties of identities which we carry in this world? So these identities are only pertaining to our body. But who is the person, the unchanging personality? So I'll just think about this example and can reflect on it. No? So example is like that. Let's say one of your very dear friend, he's in a very costly car. He's driving the car and he meets an accident. So if he meets an accident, what you're going to do? Would you be worried about saving the car, or you'll be anxious to see your friend is all right or not, or you want to save your friend? What would be your response? Yes.
Obviously.
Friend.
Yeah. But the point
Of
is,
course, I
the
would
point,
save my friend.
yeah, friend, right? But here the scientist, Dr. Harry Monson. So what does he say? He says that actually, if you analyze your body, so and the different chemicals what the body is made up of. So it has like 5 pounds of calcium, 1.5 pounds of phosphate, 9 ounces of potassium. Like that, you can list the chemicals or the ingredients with which our body is made up of. So uh, you'll find the cost of all these ingredients, the sum total together, it just costs maybe $2, rupees 110, just $2. Maybe, maybe in today's world, maybe $5, not more than that. But your car could be of much, much more price, right? It may be like thousands of dollars, right? Sometimes lakhs of dollars. Car could be of that costly car. So now, if your friend is driving such a costly car and the body's cost is only $2 worth, then why they're interested to save the person who is having the cost of only $2? And we are not so anxious to save the car or take the car to the garage immediately. That is not our major concern, right? So that means our friend is not just the body which is of worth $2. We appreciate our friend much more. We value our friend much more. There is no comparison. We cannot just even compare with such a costly car with our friend. We always keep our friend, with much greater value than the car. So what makes my friend so important? If if you analyze materially, his body is only made up of certain chemicals which only is costing $2. Then why we are interested in $2, leaving aside thousands of dollars of worth car? That means my friend is not just made up of the body, which is made up of chemicals of worth $2, but rather my friend is something beyond this body, his body, and that is soul. So soul is so important. So we don't want our friend, that means the soul, to leave the body because we want him to be there with us, right? So that's why the soul is very valuable, very important for us. So what makes any person valuable, important? Because the presence of the soul, because of the presence of the soul. Does this point is clear? Is this point clear to all of you?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, fine. We move ahead. So don't you feel we are more than the chemicals which constitute this body? Don't you feel that? We are more than the chemicals which constitute this body. Yes. Then what is our real identity? So now there may be some, beauty queen. So, but after death, chemicals are the same. There are no feelings, there are no thinking, no desires, no movement, no consciousness. Though the same body which we always saw, which we always had interacted with, but the person is not having now any feeling, thinking, desire, movement, because the person, the soul has left. The body is still lying, but the soul has left the body actually. The same body, but the soul is gone. So you can see how the soul, it changes the body in this life itself, from boyhood to youthhood to old age, right? All of us were a small baby, say 20, say some of you maybe 40 years before, some of you 20 years before. You were small, right? Small kid. Our body was very small, maybe like this much size or something. Very small. And now when we grew, we became adult, our body grew. So body changed, but we remain the same person. Person is the same, I mean, when I say this person, that means this person right now has an adult body, but the same person was having a baby body, a boy body or a girl body, say 10, 15, 20 years before. So in this life also, we have changed our bodies from boyhood to old age, I mean, to youth to old age. But the person remains the same. That's what this picture is showing. The same soul is changing the body. At the time of death, it takes another new body. Again, he gets a baby body, then again boy body, again the adult body. It goes on further like that. So this cycle, the cycle of birth and death, it goes on. It gets carried forward. So in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, so we can discuss these verses more in detail later, but because I want to give you a synopsis in this session, so that's why I'll be just quoting the translation of the some verses of Bhagavad Gita, which is talking about the soul. So one of the verse of Bhagavad Gita, it says, "For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time." So yeah, the soul has no birth, it has no death. That means soul is eternal. Soul is eternal. So death actually does not stops our existence, does not stop our existence. The death is a phenomena, it's an event when we give up one body altogether and we go to next body. So it's just a change of body. No, it's change of body. Yes. Yes, I mean, please go
I
ahead.
have a question that I've always wondered about, which
Yes.
is when we shed this body, do we have any choice in what kind of body we get next, or where we go next, or what kind of life we go to next? Or is it just decided for us?
Very good question. Very important question. Very good question. So this question actually we'll be discussing. The answer you'll get. We are going to discuss about transmigration of the soul. You remember I was telling the 4 themes. So one of the theme I told, this life is not all in all. Next life exists. That's called transmigration of the soul from one body to another body. So there we are going to discuss in detail on what factors the soul next destination is decided. We are going to discuss that point. But to tell you now, for now, it is not a random event. It's not a random event. There are factors which we have certain influence on, which we are responsible for, and based on those factors, we get the next body. So it's not completely under our control, but it's not completely out of our control also. So we have certain, just like for example, exam. When you have certain exam, after exam, then it is decided where you are going to go, which college you get, right? You pass, fail, and everything. Now, the result of the exam or the whole thing, like, which college you're going to get or not get, it's in your hand also, because you have an influence over you in terms of how much you want to study, how much you prepare, right? But exam is an event which is also under the authority of certain examiners, the teachers, professors, right? They have a certain pattern of exam and assessment criteria, everything. So you have control over that in terms of preparing well, doing your duty very well of studies. At the same time, you're not fully under control. Means the assessment criteria, the exam pattern, the content of the exam, the question papers, difficulty levels, everything. All that is an event which is also, under the direction of the superiors, the professors and teachers, right? Similarly here also. So we have certain influence, like means we can prepare ourselves. We can decide at certain actions, certain ways we live our life, by which we would be awarded higher destinations. But it all happens under the jurisdiction, under the authority of the superior agents or in this cosmos. We are going to discuss about it a bit later. That would be our third session. We'll have more discussion on that, on law of karma, all that we're going to discuss, right? It will come up. Are we good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other question, reflection? Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Okay. Connor, are you good till now?
You said it's called transmigration of the soul.
Yes, yes, yes. So shall we move ahead?
Yes.
Please.
Okay. Connor, your permission with me? Should go ahead.
Right on ahead.
Sorry?
You can go
Okay.
wherever
Fine.
you.
Okay. So you can see this picture, you see. If you find there is some kind of spark moving forward. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you can see how the soul is transmigrating, right? So that's what this picture again shows. The soul is moving. So you get different bodies, but the soul is the same.
Really?
Yeah. So now body and soul, what are the differences? Can discuss. So body is matter, the soul is spirit. The body is not conscious, the soul is conscious. The body changes, the soul doesn't change. Body is temporary, soul is eternal. Body is dead, the soul is alive. soul is alive. So there's a very important difference between body and soul. One must know that. So, like my kurta, I mean that my shirt, what you find on me. Now this shirt remains dead, right? But why my shirt is moving? Because I am moving it. That's why my shirt is moving. So shirt has not become alive. The shirt is dead. It's even now. If I remove my shirt and put no, I mean with a hang it. I hang it. So then what happens when my shirt is hanging on the hanger? Then it doesn't move. Then I mean it just appears like dead. But when it is on me, then it moves. It appears very lively. Same with the body. When it is actually, I mean, the soul is present. Soul is making the body move, function so many ways. But when the soul moves out of the body, soul further goes. It actually comes. I mean, it just leaves the body. Then the body just lies dead. But the point, even the soul was present, then also that body that we see is moving is again dead matter only. It's dead matter only. But why it is moving? Because soul is making it move. I think you are able to make sense of it. So I was just trying to help you understand. Just like my shirt is always dead, whether it is on me or it is on the hanger. Same way the body is always dead matter, whether the soul is right now moving it or the soul leaves the body and the body is just lying dead. Does it make sense? Okay. So material viewpoint, we think that our body is made up of matter. We are no more than a chemical bundle. Everything is finished at the time of death. This is what is material viewpoint. But spiritual viewpoint is different when you have understanding of soul. We are not the material body of flesh and bones. We are a spirit soul encased in the material body. And we do not die. We do not die. We do not die when material body stops to function. Yeah, that means we continue. Soul continues its journey, moves forward. Just like the driver interacts with the outside world with the help of horn, headlight, tires, right? Same way, the soul, which is like a driver, and body, which is like a car, we also interact with the outside world. The horn, just like in the car, there's horn, so we have also our vocal cord. We are also interacting with people by speaking. Just like driver sitting in the car is interacting with the outside world through headlight, then able to see things. Same with the soul sees through the eyes. Eyes is like the headlight for the bodily car, right? Yeah, we like the car moves on the wheels. When the driver is sitting in the car is moving with the wheels. Same way we are moving with our legs. The soul is sitting in this bodily car. This is how we can understand. The car cannot budge 1 inch without the driver. The body is termed dead without the presence of the driver, the soul. So as the bird is trapped in a cage, the soul is trapped in the material body. So as an old lady polishing the cage, forgetting to feed the parrot, people are pampering the material body, forgetting to nourish the soul. So just like in a cage, there is a parrot and a lady is only nicely, just trying to polish it, decorate it, but doesn't feed the parrot. Same way, if you only take care of our body, if you only think, how can I make my body comfortable? But we don't worry about taking care of the soul, nourish the soul, then we always remain in miserable situation. Then we don't get the real happiness. Because we are soul and we have not done anything for the soul. We are only trying to decorate our body, pamper the body. Does it make sense to all of you?
Mhm.
So you can find, like many people, they are into sometimes bodybuilding, sometimes they are into cosmetic industry, getting a lot of, you know, uh, varieties of things to put on their body, to make their body attractive, nice, healthy, so many ways. But in spite of doing all that, you find people are unhappy with it. They may have huge material success in terms of having so much of facilities for enjoyment with their body. They may have nice food to eat. They may have best of the entertainment resources. They may have so much of money. They can just go around anywhere, any part of the world, do any kind of thing. But in spite of having all that, you see people still find some sort of deep emptiness in their heart. They still find certain sadness in their heart. So have you yourself experienced and have you witnessed any of your friends or anybody in this world like that, that they have got a lot of material resources, material facilities, but not the real happiness, not the satisfaction of their heart? Have you ever have experience in your life or in someone's life? If yes, you can share.
Sure.
Yes, I think the people who I know like that are suffering from loneliness. I've seen people who have all the material stuff but don't have any friends and are suffering from loneliness.
Yes. Yeah, correct. So that's true. What Amy is telling is true. So the point is, until unless we don't realize that we are not the body, we are soul, and the soul needs nourishment, and that loneliness of the soul is felt because we have not identified the soul, and we have not given that uh, soul opportunity to actually have relationship with God. We have not done that. That's why we are feeling lonely. So soul has an intimate friend. The soul's intimate friend is the God, the Supreme Lord, his eternal friend. Anyway, that topic we are going to discuss in the next session about existence of God. But the point is, as you rightly said, that there are people like that. Those who have got so much of material stuff, but no real happiness or peace. They have no satisfaction, rather they feel loneliness or they have certain, anxieties and miseries in their lives. Yes, go ahead.
So, but do you think that you can connect with God like through connecting with other people?
Yeah,
Do you know what I
actually, we can
mean?
connect. Yeah, please go ahead. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, I mean, can you connect with God by connecting with other souls?
Yeah. So, good question. Actually, you see, it happens side by side. When you can connect yourself to God, it becomes easy for you to connect to every person. For example, if you can connect to your parents well, if you actually love them, then it becomes easy for you to connect to all your brothers, all your siblings, brothers, sisters, siblings, basically. Because you have love for your brothers and sisters, you have love for your siblings based on your love for your parents, because you see that connection. They're all connected to your parents. So, universal brotherhood is possible when you have universal fatherhood. When you can love God, then you can love everyone because everyone is connected with God. Does it make sense? When you connect to God,
Yeah,
then you can
it makes
connect to
sense.
everyone. Yeah, then you can connect to everyone because you can see that God is connected to everyone. So when you connect to God, then you can connect to everyone also. You can have affection for everyone also. That's why those who become pure lover of God, they cannot harm anyone. They become harmless. Rather, they want to love and serve every person. And that loving and service uh, attitude is on a spiritual platform because you see how all the souls, they have taken different external bodies which may have differences. You may be I may be Indian, you may be American, somebody may be man, somebody may be woman, somebody may be black, somebody may be white, somebody may be English speaking, somebody may be German speaking. There are external differences of the body and subtle body. But the soul of every person as soul is divine, is blissful, eternal, and is intimately connected with God. So then you can love every person on the spiritual platform. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So we'll move forward. So 6 changes of the living body. I have now only 8 minutes to go. So I won't be able to cover this entire session fully. So would you mind like me extending this session to the next time? We will not keep it like a, sessions bound by certain weeks. Maybe we can have one session like two weeks, so that we can cover the subject matter more easily and with our required pace. What do you feel?
That would be great.
Okay. So are you okay with that? Because sometimes we may have we may extend our weeks, it may not be like 4 sittings. We may have more sittings, but we will try to discuss, in proper pace and everything. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Connell, you're fine with that? Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'll just introduce this topic and then we'll again open for any reflection or questions. So here, Srila Prabhupada is saying, he's our teacher. So he says, Swamiji, he's asking a question. Actually, he's a professor is asking a question. Swamiji, I think our body is just a complex machine that gets worn out and crashes. Why should we bother about some soul power in the body? This is the question asked. The answer is, does your car or computer grow? Do you have a male and female car that can unite and produce a baby car? A living body undergoes 6 changes, whereas matter just depreciates. It is the soul that makes living body alive. Now think about it. Any machine, it doesn't have this kind of phenomena. It cannot, like 2 cars cannot come together and produce a baby car. It doesn't happen like that. You never find, a small car growing and becoming big car. You never find that. So yes, the body is like a machine, but it is not an ordinary machine like any other machine. It's a very special machine designed by God, which has 6 changes. So this bodily machine, which is designed by God in a very special way, and the soul present in this body, soul is present in the body, then we call it living body. Body is always dead, but we are talking about this machine. The bodily machine, very special one, different from any ordinary machine, ordinary robot. It undergoes 6 changes. So it makes it different and unique than any other machine, right? And the soul is present in the body and then it undergoes 6 changes. So let's discuss those 6 changes. So what are the 6 changes? So first is birth. We see that our body is, we take birth, we get this body. Then we grow from childhood to boyhood. We grow, right? And then there is maintenance. Then there is production of byproducts like offspring and all. And then there is dwindling. And then there is death. But in the case of any other ordinary machine, there is birth, maybe creation, but there is no growth. There may be maintenance for some time. There is no production of byproducts. And it may be there is just dwindling. So it doesn't have these 6 changes. But with any living, any body, human body or any animal body, any body, living body, where the soul is present, it undergoes 6 changes, right? So this point shows that our body, when the soul is also present, it's a very unique kind of machine, right? Which has these 6 kind of changes, which is not the case with any other ordinary machine, like universal testing machine or any robot or any refrigerator or anything. So it's completely different. Yeah. So yeah. So that's how so 3 major differences between a living body and a robot. A living body undergoes 6 changes, while matter only dwindles, as I mentioned to you before. A male and female living body can multiply similar species. Machines can't reproduce by union. Living body has consciousness, thinking, feeling, and willingness, while matter has no consciousness. You don't find refrigerator or your TV or your any machine. It doesn't have any emotions. It doesn't have any thought process, feeling, willingness, right? It just function in a very mechanical way. But we being situated in the bodily machine, we are soul, who's sitting in this bodily machine, but we have consciousness. We have thought thinking, we have feelingness, we have willingness, correct? Like if you're going on the road, suddenly somebody, stops and gives you a jerk, and so you may feel hurt. You may say, why are you doing that? You may feel hurt. Sometimes people sometimes become so violent, they may want to beat you also. If you even sometimes by mistake give a jerk, sometime to some person. So that means they respond. But if I just hit my bottle, which is also like, or say mobile, it's a machine. If I hit it, it cannot respond. It doesn't feel hurt. So because there is no consciousness, there is no presence of the soul, right? So any bodily machine is different from any living body is different from a robot or any other machine. Does this point, is this point clear? What did I speak on this point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What about you, Connell and Nancy? Is this okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. So now I won't move ahead now. I'll just give you a suspense about this picture, and we were going to discuss about this picture in the next session. It's talking about gross body, subtle body, soul, how we are like, our existences. Like as I told, we have a external body, then we have subtle body as mind, and then we have soul, the spiritual, the real person. And yeah, so gross body is made up of what, subtle body is made up of what, and soul is made up of what. I have made this point, but we will discuss maybe next class, next session this. So we can again meet next Saturday at 11 a.m. and then we can discuss more. So at this point of time, I'd like to close, but we have still 2 minutes to go. In case anyone of you
I
want to
just
have
want
any.
to ask you,
Yes.
in the next session, can you send me the link by email? I think it would be easier for me to hear you on my laptop.
Oh, that's good. That Swapnil will take care of that. He's our coordinator.
Yeah, email
he's
would be easier.
he's organizing the whole thing. He will do it. Swapnil, please help them this way.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. So any other query or any reflection, I'll be happy to hear. We have still 1 more minute in case you want to say anything.
Nope.
So did you find the session interesting and you were able to relate to it? I mean,
Yeah,
just honest
very
reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it was
interesting. Yeah.
it was very eye-opening.
Oh, thank you. What about you, Colonel? I mean, you could join little late, Colonel, but I mean, never mind. It was not so late. I hope you got the subject matter in nutshell, something. Was that okay, Colonel? You're muted. If you can unmute and just speak, Colonel.
It was interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So we will meet next Sunday, next Saturday, 11 a.m. Same time. We'll meet. Thank you.
Okay.
Have
Thanks
a good
a lot.
day.
Okay.
All right.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Hare
Thank you,
Namaste.
everyone. Namaste.